So, Namaskaram, all of you. Welcome to this live session. Sorry for the delay. There were some tech issues, so I couldn't, log in earlier. So, thank you so much for joining this session, and wish all of you a very happy Bhogi and also Makar Sankranti. So, today being Bhogi is a very significant day. It's as Sadhguru says that this is a day when we should see how we can get rid of all the unnecessary things in our life, whether it's the stuff which we have accumulated at home, but more importantly, whatever we have accumulated in our mind in terms of people, opinions about people, prejudices, judgments, opinions. So this is a time not just for people around us, but also for us, what we have you know uh, kind of concretized about ourselves, to drop those perceptions, opinions, judgments, and just see how to start afresh. So generally a day before Makar Sankranti, Bhogi or Lori or the similar, there are a lot of it's referred in different names based on which part of the country you are. The idea is just to see that before Makar Sankranti, if you can just drop all the unnecessary things and start afresh, because Makar Sankranti is the very significant day in terms of a new beginning, the harvest time, and this is Uttarayan, which is the time to harvest whatever sadhana you have done in the last 5 6 months, which was Dakshinayana. So wish all of you, very blessed and joyful new year as well. So hope this year and this Uttarayana and the coming few months are a significant time for all of us. And I just thought that I'll connect with all of you to share a few updates in terms of what's been happening since the last 1 month, and also what we have in store in the next few months, and also take any questions if you have. So that was the objective of seeing how we can do a live session today. So I hope all of you were able to make use of the Margali month. The last 1 month has been very significant, and there are so many tools which are offered by Sadhguru so that we could make best use of this month. So I was there in the ashram, Isha Yoga Center, for 21 days, for 3 weeks for the Margali Sadhana, because ever since Sadhguru announced the program few months back that he will be there for the first time throughout the month, and for seekers to come and make use of this. So immediately I registered for the program, and I was there for 3 weeks. I was there for 3 weeks. So generally I do programs in December. We have our kids programs, etc. We have it during December, but this time, I wanted to be a part of this sadhana and new program which Sadhguru had designed. So I just gave it a miss and said I'll be in the ashram. So it was really wonderful time to spend 3 weeks in the ashram, and I had an opportunity to take extended silence, and also it was like, generally I do programs where it's for 2 to 3 weeks or lesser, and where we give an opportunity for people to come and start afresh. But I was waiting for a program for myself as well, and after a long time I got an opportunity where everything is set in terms of what to do, when to what sessions are there, in terms of what is your schedule, what time to wake up. Everything is fixed, and it just flows, because when you're in a program, it's such a beautiful experience. You don't have to think in terms of what to do. Everything is laid out for you, and one after the other, it just helps you to look so deep within yourself. And it can help you to kind of remove unnecessary things which you may be clinging on, and to help give a fresh perspective. So the same videos, you may have heard the Sadhguru's videos couple of times, but every time when you watch it, based on how you are at that time and your life situations, you may get a completely different perspective when you hear the same video. So those last 3 weeks, being in the ashram, it was a very, very different perspective in terms of going through the same things which I may have come across earlier, but this time it hit very differently. So it was really wonderful, and Sadhguru's satsangs were there every Sunday, and the Tirthakun was open every day in the morning to take a dip. There was Mahamantra chanting for 40 minutes, spending time in the temples, doing bhakti sadhana, and watching Sadhguru's videos in the evening, in the night after dinner. So all these things, it was really wonderful, and also doing sadhana in the open air. So everyone was doing their sadhana in Nalanda grounds on the open air, and in touch with the elements. So there were so many aspects of the program which were, so rejuvenating. And some people came for shorter periods of time. Some people came for 3 days, 5 days, 2 weeks, or 1 week, and it was really nice to reconnect. And as part of spending time over there for 3 weeks, I could also get an opportunity to take part in other things which were happening in the ashram. For example, the Guru Mahima program was happening on 30th, which was really a great experience for me. Since I was there in the ashram, it just worked out well that I could take part in that, and get initiated into that Ishanga 7% program which Sadhguru has been doing. So that I felt, was for me, two things in these last few weeks were, hugely transforming. One was taking up silence during the sadhana period. Every day we were anyway supposed to go into silence in the night, from night 9 p.m. till morning, next day morning 11 a.m. So that was really helpful because you were away from all devices, and no electronic devices, no reading, no watching, no doing anything else except just being with yourself and doing the sadhana. So it was hugely rejuvenating. Apart from that, there was an opportunity to go into full day silence as well, to take extended periods of silence. So that silence was hugely transforming to help look within. And as I was sharing even earlier, I generally take up silence once in 3 months, and that gives me an opportunity to kind of recharge, see how things have been progressing, what things have been going right, what things have not been going right, and see how to correct it, and to look deeper within myself. So that silence was usually transforming for me. And also this program which came in between, the Guru Mahima program, that also was a very big experience for me, because I just realized that initially I just used to think that, okay, this is like a partnership where many of us, when we see the program, we think, okay, it's like a partnership where we are giving something and we are getting something in return. But this was an opportunity for me to just look deep within myself and see that how much one can transform if one is just willing to see how they can create a small opening within themselves. Generally, we even to give a little bit, what we have, what we consider as, is very difficult, for most people, because we always are, thinking in terms of what do we get. If we give so much, what do we get? But here, this made me look at this in a very different way, and just opening myself up so that I can take this step was a huge step, because it was not just about this. It kind of brought awareness in terms of how this aspect was affecting so many areas of my life, in terms of how just becoming a little more giving in nature can open up so many things within you. So it was a hugely transforming experience, just going through the program with Sadhguru, getting initiated, and attending his satsang, and just that little opening which was created, it made a huge difference. So I was really fortunate to go through that, and then spend the New Year's Eve with Sadhguru. There's a satsang there. I think a lot of people came only for the New Year's satsang. So it was all in all, it was a really wonderful experience. Those 3 weeks, taking silence, doing sadhana, guided sadhana, and spending time in the temples, tirthakons. Earlier, I felt morning morning 3:30 a.m. To take a dip in tirthakund could be a could be a really challenging experience, because to walk all the way from where you're staying to that place could take around 15 minutes or 20 minutes, and in the early in the morning to do that, it was it wasn't a very easy thing to do in the first few days. But then I realized that anyway I'm here, so it's better to break all these resistances, So once I did that in the after the first few days, then it became quite simple, and felt that that why is it that there was so much resistance initially. So getting up at Brahma Muhurtam and making use of the that period to do sadhana, this itself Sadhguru has spoken about this very highly, that it is so important this time, 3:40 in the morning, that whatever happens, Sadhguru was sharing his experience that wherever he is, whichever time zone he is in, it doesn't matter what time he has slept, but his body will definitely wake him up at 3:40. Something or the other will happen where he just comes awake. So he was saying it is so important for him that that's how his experience is, that whatever happens wherever he is, whatever situation he may be in, it's somehow the body just comes awake at that time. If he's tired, if he wants to sleep again after that, he can do that, but at least the body comes awake at that time. So to make use of this period, the Brahma Muhurtam, it is very conducive for a spiritual seeker. So this last 1 month, to make use of this time to spend time in the ashram and make use of this was a really rewarding experience. So generally, this Margali month is considered a month when everything slows down. You tend to kind of go down in a slow, you go in a slow down mode, and your body, mind, everything, it kind of slows down. But if you have just kept up with the sadhana in these last few weeks, then you would have seen that instead of slowing down, it would have been very rejuvenating for you. So hope many of you were able to make use of this time, and those of you who were not able to come to the ashram, even attending it online, the online Margali sadhana was something I think you might have benefited from. Just going through the online video where you do the Mahamantra chanting, and doing the guided Shambhavi Mahamudra together, listening to Sadhguru's insights every day. So that itself, I hope it was very transforming for you. So now it's up to us how to keep up the momentum. And this time, from now till Mahashivratri, you will see a lot of programs coming up in terms of programs which are like sadhana, where you can take up sadhana for 21 days or 1 week or for 42 days, because this is a very conducive time to work on oneself. So you will see Bhairavi sadhana, Shivanga sadhana, Mahashivratri sadhana, all these different types of programs or structured sadhana which one can make use of. So whatever is comfortable for you, it will be nice if you can take it up and make use of this time till Mahashivratri. There is Bhairavi sadhana which can be done for various amounts of time, Shivanga sadhana or Mahashivratri sadhana. So see how you can make use of it. And also if you can spend time during Mahashivratri in the ashram, that will also will be very wonderful. So that's also something you can plan on March 8th. So that's been the news since last 1 month, last few weeks being in the ashram and then coming back here. And I think tomorrow on Makar Sankranti, those of you who are planning to come, it'll be a good opportunity to spend time with Sadhguru and go through the consecration. So tomorrow Sadhguru will be consecrating the Nandi and Trishula, Mahatrishula in Mahashula in the Bengaluru ashram. So tomorrow the event is there in Bengaluru, and those of you who are coming, I think tomorrow you will get an opportunity to spend time with Sadhguru, and there will be some processes in which we can take part. So I'm planning to be there as well. So tomorrow it would be a wonderful opportunity to spend that stay with Sadhguru. So it's been all in all, this last 1 month has been really wonderful for me. And also, as I mentioned even in the last live session we had, that now we have completed 7 years of being as part of Yogi Re and teaching and seeing how to share Sadhguru's insights and wisdom. So thanks to all of you. We have it's been the last 7 years. It's been a really wonderful journey, and thanks to all of your support, we were able to come so far. So first of all, I would like to thank all of you for being with us and supporting us, and seeing how to encourage us during this time in these last 7 years. It has been various. There have been various times when felt like how things will work out, There was this COVID time when it felt like we won't be able to teach anything because people are not able to step outside their homes. But actually, it turned out to be a blessing in disguise because that made people more focused in terms of their inner well-being, and online programs opened up. So this, when I look back in these last 7 years, what it makes me kind of realize is that it doesn't matter what whatever happened, what situations happened outside. It was an opportunity to make use of it and grow. So initially, whatever felt like as if it's a difficult situation, actually, that was what helped me grow more. So that's how I can look back and see, because whatever difficult situations I think I have last few years that I came across, those were the situations which were most transforming. And one thing which I'm very happy about is that in spite of being going through so many difficult situations or challenges or whatever situations which I've come across, one thing which never changed, which was the direction, just to see how I can continue offering whatever I can offer, seeing how to work on myself, and seeing how to intensify my longing, see how I can make use of the ashram every few months. Until the lockdown, it was not possible to go there, but once it opened up, it's been there, going there regularly and seeing how to make use of it. So whatever has happened, whether it's ups and downs, all of them have been transforming. There are many things which I felt, last few weeks I was trying to reflect and see that what things were, something which I need to work on, what worked well and what didn't work well, and to see how, I want to take it forward. So I saw that many aspects can be made much better in terms of sadhana, in terms of spending time with people, in terms of relationships, in terms of travel, so many different aspects. But most importantly, to see how I can make this, how I can make myself as a better human being. So that is the most fundamental thing to work on, because everything else just flows from that. You can only offer what you are, right? You cannot offer anything else, whether it's your programs, whether it's whatever else you are offering, and how you are with people, and everything else which you do on the outside is just a reflection of what you are within yourself. So the most fundamental thing is to work on ourselves. So this is the most important thing which I felt that I need to continue working on. And as part of that, whatever I've been doing, I want to just see how to intensify that. And also, I felt that it is time to break a few limitations, to try out new avenues, and take up new challenges, which I may not have done before. So, as part of that, this year, if if there are opportunities outside, and if it's conducive in terms of travel, I would like to see if I can travel a lot, and see also if I can teach wherever possible. So this is something which I have not done much before. I have been doing programs only in around Bangalore, and last year we ventured outside. Maybe we did just one program in Dehradun, and otherwise mostly we've been doing online programs and programs based in Bangalore and nearby. Some retreat programs we have done in Bandipur, Chikmagalur, Sakleshpur, such places. So which are not too far off from Bangalore. So generally we've been sticking to places around. So this year I want to see how I can, step outside, see how I can, try out something else. So as part of that, I intend to travel a lot this year and the coming years. If if things go well, I would like to see how I can, even those of you who are based outside of India, to see how we can reach out to you, and maybe even visit you, see we can meet up, and if possible plan programs or just meetups in your place. So it would be a nice thing, and I always felt that this is something, because I've been traveling a lot, though I have not been whenever I travel I may not be teaching. But last few years I've been traveling a lot to India and different parts abroad as well. Like last year, as I've shared, I visited UK, Europe, and before that in India, a lot of places, north, south, and west, east. So different places I've visited, and I've been continuing to do that since last few years, because generally my schedule is that I teach classes for about 2 months or so, and then for the next 2.5 months, I'm taking taking up silence or spending time volunteering in the ashram, and then traveling outside, whether whether it's a hill station or a natural place or anywhere else, so or it's a spiritual place. So wherever it is, I just see that's how I've been doing, and then the schedule continues, where I teach for a few months, then again out traveling, spending time in the ashram, volunteering. Like this it has been there last few years, but I've never explored traveling outside and also seeing how I can meet people and maybe have meetups, have programs, etc. These things I have not explored. So this year we may explore that, and it would be nice if those of you who are interested, maybe if you can support in this initiative, if you are even based in different parts of India, and if you are based abroad, if you would be interested, if you would be interested that we visit your city or wherever you're staying, and do something over there. Maybe you can support in different ways. You can support in hosting, or you can give company, you can be a guide, you can travel along wherever we are traveling, you can come along, or you can organize some programs at your place, maybe some private classes, or wherever it's possible, where the countries have, they don't have any visa restrictions in terms of doing programs for visitors. Then it's been possible to organize programs at that place. It could be retreat programs or public classes or private classes. So there are many options which are available, which can be done. And more importantly, just to meet up, to connect, and see how we can support each other on this journey. So it'll be nice to connect with meditators across the world, because we have been doing programs like the Ahar online program, the Dujas program, the Srishti online program. These are online programs where we have people from different parts of the world joining, and many of them have expressed interest if they can, meet up, or if we can do programs, or if we can organize something at their place. So I'm planning to see how I can do that starting from this year, and from day after tomorrow, actually, I'm planning to be in Southeast Asia for almost more than a month. So as part of that, I'll be traveling to different countries in Southeast Asia. So if you are in Southeast Asia, it will be a good opportunity to meet up. Please see how you can let us know if you are based there, and if you are coming to your place, it will be nice to meet up and see how we can spend some time together. So there could be also an opportunity where you could come along with me. We can travel together. So it's always nice to spend time with people who are on the same path. The sangha, or the connect, the group of spiritual seekers, is something which is very important. The sangha, the group which we are with, the people who are with, they make a big difference in terms of supporting us on the spiritual path. So it is always wonderful to connect with people on the same path, and to see how we can support each other and strengthen our connect with the guru. So this is something, it would be very wonderful if those of you who are based in countries like Vietnam, Thailand, Cambodia, Singapore, Malaysia, Indonesia. So Southeast Asian countries, if you are based, let's see if it's possible to meet up. So also this we are doing our first international program on Jan 21st in Hanoi in Vietnam, and also on Jan 27th and 28th in Ho Chi Minh City, Vietnam. So those of you who are based there, or who have friends or contacts over there, it will be nice if you can please share the word about these programs happening. This is for the first time we are trying to do programs outside of India, and we are starting with Vietnam, since I'll be going to Vietnam first. So tentatively, mostly I'll be going to Vietnam. I'll be in Vietnam from 16th to 28th of Jan, and after that traveling to Cambodia, and then spending a few days there, so that it could be an opportunity for you, those of you who are based around there or who want to come. you can come along for that leg of the tour. You can come and spend time in Cambodia, which is very famous for especially for its ancient temples. All of you may have heard about the Angkor Wat temple, and the history behind it, and how intricately it has been designed. And Sadhguru was mentioning that many of these temples in Cambodia were made by Tamil rulers who went there and established this. So it has a lot of history behind it, and that's some we'll be spending a few days there. Then post that, planning mostly to go to Thailand, spending a week or so over there, and then to Malaysia. So those of you based in Kuala Lumpur or nearby, it could be a good opportunity to meet up and see if we can connect. And then most probably to Bali in Indonesia. So that's another place which is has a lot of history behind it. It's really wonderful. Even a week is not enough actually. Just a week is just to get a glimpse. It's something which takes a lot more time to explore in terms of the culture and things which are over there. It's really wonderful place. So planning to spend some time there. So again, this could be an opportunity for people who want to join that part of the tour. If you want to come along and explore from wherever you are, it would be nice to travel together and come. So and post that, spend time in Singapore for a few days. So in major cities like where we have a lot of people who have done our programs, like in Singapore, in Malaysia, in Vietnam. So in these places, we want to plan some meetups as well. So those of you who are based there, if you can, we can let you know that when we are planning a meetup, and if it's possible for you, you can come and join, and it'll be nice to meet up with you. And so that's the tentative plan in terms of places to cover. So if you're based in Southeast Asia, it'll be nice. There have been other requests as well. Things are opening up where a lot of people are requesting where if we can come to their place, and some of them said that you can come and stay with us. You can come. We'll organize things for you. And there's so many things which are opening up. So it's really nice to know that how sometimes if you just take one step, you will see that how things open up in a very big way. There are people who are longing. It doesn't matter which part of the world you are in, you will see that there are always people who are longing, and thirst which Sadhguru has created in people's minds and hearts. It is something which we'll see in every part of the world. So things have I've been getting requests from last few days from so many people, seeing that how we can make things happen in their place. So we'll see how best to accommodate whatever is possible. So generally I've been traveling, and I see if I travel for a mandala at least, where around 40 to 42 days. So last year I traveled like this to UK and Europe, and it was an opportunity to meet some people and also explore these places. But this time I'm also planning to see how we can even do some meetups and other things, maybe even few private classes or other whatever is possible in these places. So if you're based there in Southeast Asia, let's see how we can connect. So as part of that, you can what you can do is you can fill up a form where if you're based over there, then where do you stay and in what ways you would like to support. If you can let us know, then if we are planning to come to your place, then we can get in touch with you. And even if you're not based here, wherever you are based in India or abroad, I would encourage, if you would like to, please fill up the form. So I'll share this link in a minute. So I think you can see this now, right? Yeah. So this I'll anyway share this in the description as well. So you can just go to this link, bit.ly/yogire-travel, and you can fill up your details so that if we plan something, then we can let you know and see how to meet up in whatever ways you would like to support. You can fill this up, and most probably we'll see how we can create a group as well for people based in Southeast Asia, so that you can be more up to date in terms of where we are and how we can join together or meet up or whatever, if there are any programs if we are doing. So that's also something that would be nice. So this is just a start. Hope if we are able to do this, if we are able to make this sustainable and make it happen this time, then it could be an opportunity to do it in many other places. There have been invites from many places, from our meditators in different places, from UK, from Australia, from New Zealand, from Dubai, and many other places where they want us to come and do things over there. So we'll see how to make it happen. But this is the first step. I just thought I'd start with this, and based on how things go, if I can make this sustainable, because generally travel and associated things, there are a lot of things to do, in terms of time it takes to plan to make it happen, in terms of finance. There are so many aspects when it involves doing things outside. When you're doing things in your own place, then it's very comfortable. You have a venue, you have things going with you, and there's not much in terms of logistics, organizing, etc. You can do it easily. But when you're trying to do something like this, there's a lot more, and which cannot be done on just on your own. You have to have the support of a lot more people and put things together. So it's a different level of challenge, in terms of taking things up. So I just thought that let me try and break my limitations and see how I can do this, and if I can make this sustainable in terms of making it happen, doing it in different places, traveling and seeing how it can impact people and create some value. So if we can make this sustainable as well in different ways, then we can see how to do more of this in different places. So definitely it would be nice if you can support in any possible ways if you're based in any of these places. So please fill up the form if you would like to support in any possible way, and let's see how we can make this happen as well. And also in the next few months until Mahashivratri, see if we can spend more time. So generally when I've been traveling, so that is also a time for me, to see how I can continue doing whatever I've been doing, in spite of being in different kinds of situations, different time zones, uncomfortable situations. Sometimes you may not. Now, when I'm at home, I can get the food which I want to, but now when I'm traveling, I may not have the option or luxury of choosing everything which I want to. So, in spite of having difficulties in many of these aspects like food, sleep, waking up, and different time zones, so many different things, it just throws off a lot of things at you when you are traveling, because it's not so comfortable anymore like how you are when you're at home. So in spite of this, to keep up your intensity, to keep up the sadhana, it's a different level of competence altogether, when it comes to doing that. Generally most people when they travel, they just drop whatever they're doing and they feel okay, now I just want to be here and just do this. But to keep up with whatever you're doing, in spite of doing things on the outside, it requires a lot more. So this also is an opportunity for me to strengthen that. Last year I tested it with the UK and Europe tour, and that was something I could keep it up in terms of doing my practices, in terms of spending enough time in sadhana, seeing how I can eat right wherever possible, and if not, just seeing how I can eat joyfully wherever there's no option. See, more than what you eat, how you eat makes the most difference. So as Sadhguru says, if you can consume whatever you're consuming joyfully, it makes a huge difference. So when you are in outside territory where things are not very comfortable for you, that is the time when you feel this more strongly than ever, because how you consume what's there in front of you makes such a big difference. So tested it last year and felt that it's possible to make it happen irrespective of whichever place we go to. And so this time also hope to make it happen in terms of continuing whatever I've been doing and still seeing how to be a part of whatever activity we are in terms of involvement. So we'll keep you posted in terms of how it's going. It'll be nice to stay connected with you. Those of you who are on Instagram, you can, if you are there following any of our channels like the Yogi Re channel and also my personal page, Mukul's Musings, On these pages, mostly I'll be updating. On the personal page, mostly I'll be updating about these travels. So if you want to, be updated, you can follow the Mukul's Musings Instagram channel. It's there. The link is there on the Yogi Re Instagram channel. If you go there, you will find a link. So it'll be nice to stay updated and see how you can make this happen. Okay. So now we'll just spend some time, and those of you who have any questions, we can take that. Some of you had questions about programs here. So till March, I'm not sure if I'll be able to do any offline programs here in Bangalore, because as I said, till Feb end I'm mostly traveling, and then March mostly going for Mahashivratri, and then again it might be some travel after that with family. So maybe in April and May we may be able to plan some programs like retreats for children in summer holidays. So that time we may be able to plan something. And online programs we will see either during April, May, or even before that if it's possible. Another option for me would be, if I'm staying in a place long enough, let's say even outside, to plan some online programs from there, provided I have all the facilities over there. But that's something I have to explore, if it's possible when I'm outside. So if that is there, then it can be done. Online programs can be done from different places. So that is also an option I'll try to explore. Otherwise, maybe, in summer we can try to do things. So if you're interested in attending any of your programs, then you can fill up the inquiry form, which is there on our website. If you go to our yogire.com website, you will find an inquiry form. And whatever programs you're interested in, you please fill that up, share your details so that when it's scheduled, we can email you the same. Okay, so now if you have any questions, you can please type it on the chat window and we can look at them for the next few minutes at least. We can see how we can take a few questions. Okay. What are we allowed to hum during silence? Are we allowed to hum during silence? You can chant, you can hum, you can do all of that. If you are doing the Marghazhi mantra chanting, it's like you create the sound, humming sound continuously. So yes, you can do that even in silence. If you are doing chanting like Brahman Surupa, Am Namah Shivaya, all these things, all these chants you can also do when you're in silence. So silence doesn't mean that there should be no sound and you shouldn't speak, or you shouldn't chant. It is just that you're not communicating with anyone outside. You are not interacting with anyone outside, or not getting engaged in electronic devices or reading or newspapers, magazines, televisions, anything like that. So it's basically you cut down your interaction and engagement with the outside tools, outside world, etc., and just see how you can spend more time to look within. So chanting and other things are just a support. They are a part of your sadhana as well. So you can definitely do that. Yes. Okay, there's a question. Do you have any future plans for travel to Africa? Yes, of course. Africa is a place I would like to visit. I heard a lot about it, and would be very happy to come there. And Sadhguru has spoken that when the Saptarishis, they were trained by Shiva and they were sent to different parts of the world. One of them was sent to Africa, and I think he was mentioning that many things which are in Africa, it couldn't have been done unless someone is adept at the inner workings of human mechanism, the pyramids and so many other things. He said that the way it's been done, it definitely implies that someone had come and spent a lot of time who had complete mastery over the inner workings. So it would be nice to explore different parts of Africa as well, and maybe sometime we want to plan that. So if you're based there, it will be nice if you can fill up the form, so that if we plan something, we'll get in touch with you in terms of planning the logistics, etc. So it will be nice if you can please fill it up. Yes. Okay. How to build up Surya Shakti? Can I go to gym? Okay, so if you want to build up Surya Shakti, so Surya Shakti is more like a workout, where instead of going to gym you can do something indoors. You can have your own indoor gym. So even if you're locked at home, let's say if you're in a lockdown situation where you can't travel, if you just learn something like Surya Shakti or Angamardana, you will see that you won't miss the gym because it's a complete workout by itself. So both Surya Shakti and Angamardana are very similar in terms of its benefits. If people want to take up Surya Shakti as a fitness regimen to build muscle, to build strength, to build flexibility, to increase your stamina and strength. So all these things, it can be very useful, and most importantly, it prepares your body to go through meditation and other intense forms of hatha yoga. So it just prepares your system, because right now if the body is a barrier for you, if you feel that you find that whatever you want to do, the body is a barrier. You want to wake up early but your body is not willing. You want to sleep early but the body is not willing. Or if you want to do some physical activity but you feel lethargy. So in terms of body, right, if you are able to keep it up in a certain way, then you will see that body will be a support in whatever activity which you want to do. So Surya Shakti and other forms of hatha yoga, they are very useful in that regard to prepare your system. So Surya Shakti, you can build it up. Sadhguru's mentioned that if you can do 108 Surya Shaktis in a day, then you don't need any other physical exercise. It just keeps your system in a very different way. Not just physically, but even energetically, you will be in a different state altogether. So if you want to build it up, it's very important that you take it step by step. Just don't jump into it immediately, where you start doing, maybe one day you will do 36 cycles and next day you will crash. So it shouldn't be like that. What you can do is, there's a handout which you may have received when you did the program, which speaks about how you can scale it up slowly, step by step. Let's say you start with 3, 6, like that. There's a different numbers which are given in the handout. So right up to 108, there's a sequence which is given. So please follow that sequence. Don't do any random number of cycles, because these practices like Surya Kriya, Surya Shakti, they are about also bringing a certain alignment with the solar cycles, which naturally brings a chemistry of bliss and peacefulness in the system if you're aligned with the natural cycles. So it is very important you do only those number of cycles which have been specified in the handout by Sadhguru. So you scale it up. For example, right now you're doing 6 cycles. You continue those 6 cycles until you feel you are very comfortable. Your body feels very comfortable with 6. You don't feel it's a struggle. Once you feel comfortable with that number, then you move on to the next number. Let's say the next number is 12. Then you move on to that number of cycles. Then first few days you will see the body will struggle. You will feel like as if you have done a lot. If you continue like this, after a week or even less, based on how your body is, you will feel comfortable. Okay, now I can do 12 comfortably. That is the time you move to the next number. Like this, slowly and steadily, if you scale it up, then you will see within a month or more, you will be able to reach 108. And it will be something which your body has scaled up gradually. So you won't fall. It's not something where you've just built it up in a single or in a day or two's time and then you crash. It won't be like that. It's something because you've built it up gradually and slowly and steadily. Because like if you want to run a marathon, 42 kilometers if you want to run, and on a single day you cannot reach there. You have to first start with 5 kilometers, then build that up, become comfortable with that, then try to go for 10-kilometer runs, then build it up, become comfortable, then maybe more half marathons. Slowly and steadily, after a few months of practice, then doing a marathon of 42 kilometers becomes feasible. Similarly in Surya Shakti also, you just need to go at it step by step. And once you become comfortable with one number, keep it going for a few days or a week or so, until you feel completely at home with that number. You can easily do it, then move on to the next number. Like this, slowly keep pushing yourselves step by step, step by step. You will see you can reach there, and it will be sustainable as well. Okay. So as I mentioned, Suresh, there's a sequence given in the handout. So please follow that sequence. It is not that you can increase one cycle at a time. This is a certain sequence. So whatever number is given in the sequence, first do that number, and then keep it steady, and then move to the next number. Okay. So you please check the handout. If you have lost the handout, if you have missed it, then you can send a message on WhatsApp to our inquiry number, and we can share it with you over email. So that's also something which is possible. Okay. Okay. Someone's asking, can I go to gym? I do Shambhavi Mahamudra and Surya Kriya. Yes, of course. If you want, you can go to the gym. If you still want to, make use of it, build some muscle, a little bit of light gymming is fine. There's no issue if you want to go to the gym. And it's just that, it's something which you should be aware that if it is something which you're looking for your overall well-being, then doing these practices is very essential. But if you're just looking for to build some muscle, to get some strength, then going to the gym along with these practices is it's fine, you can do that. But as I said, there are also things which you can do, which can be a replacement for the gym as well, like Surya Shakti. If you're doing enough number of cycles, like more than 54 cycles or so, if you're doing on a daily basis, then it could be good. Or if you're doing Angamardana on a daily basis, so these things can also be give you equivalent benefits. But if you still like to go to the gym, there's no harm. You can definitely do that. See how you can make your schedule in such a way that you have enough time for your practices like Surya Kriya, Shambhavi, and also you can spend time in the gym. So that's also possible. Okay. What is the difference between Poornanga and Brahmacharya? Poornanga and Brahmacharya, these are two different things. Poornanga is a program which Sadhguru released where you can spend 3 years in the Isha Yoga Center as a full-time volunteer. So where just spending those 3 years in the Isha Yoga Center, they may put you in different activities. They can allocate you different activities or different departments that you may be moved to. So you spend time there, work on yourself. It's like an extended sadhana pada program. Sadhana pada is only for 7 months, but this is for 3 years where you spend time in the ashram and volunteer. So it'll give you a good feel of the ashram, how it is, and if you wish to, most people, if they spend 3 years, they may want to just continue there, and they may then they may just continue doing whatever they are doing. And Brahmacharya is another path. Brahmacharya is more about uh, where it's like a path of, Sadhguru says it's a path of the divine, where people, you must have seen when you go to the ashram that there are some people who wear orange, and whether it's men and women, they have uh, they have a certain attire. They are wearing orange. So these people have been initiated. They're monks who have been initiated by Sadhguru. So they have taken this path where they want to pursue spirituality full time, and it is a path where Sadhguru initiates them into brahmacharya, and they are full time in the ashram. And it is an Sadhguru says it is always important to have people for whom others' well-being is more important than their own well-being. And the brahmacharis, people who have taken this path, they are they are part of this vision to see how Sadhguru can create enough number of people who want to do this, who want to see that whatever they are doing, it is not about their own well-being but for others. So you will see that everything in the ashram, many different activities, you will find brahmacharis actively taking up a role in that, in making it happen. So it's a very different path, and that is something once you have been touched, and if you feel that this is something which you want to give your life for, and you want to walk the path of celibacy, then something like brahmacharya can be taken up. But that's an individual choice. It is not that everyone can take up that, and not that Sadhguru will take everyone into this as well, because it's a very rigorous path and intense path. So only few people may have the capacity to take this up. And whether you want to do that or not, you can spend time in the ashram for a few years and then decide whether you want to take the path of brahmacharya, or whether you want to get married and take the path of grihastha. So there is no such thing as this is better than that. Everybody has their own individual freedom and choice. You will see in the ashram there are different people. You will see there are purnangas, people who have just come there for a few years. You will see there are part-time volunteers, people who have just come there for a few days. You will see there are long-term volunteers who have come there for a few months. You will find that there are people who just come there as visitors for a few hours. You will find there are people who are brahmacharis who have dedicated their whole lives to making things happen within themselves and to help implement Sadhguru's vision. You will find there are grihastas, people who are married and also staying there and seeing how they can continue working on themselves, and also seeing how to take Sadhguru's work wherever they can, seeing how to contribute in his vision. And there are also people abroad who are spending time outside the ashram, online, in different capacities. So it doesn't matter what path you choose, so what path you choose on the outside, these are just different ways. It's just something whatever you can take up based on what you feel is suitable for you at that point of time. There are different ways, but what you do on the outside has no it's not something which will determine whether in terms of a spiritual growth, because these are just ways in which you can make yourself, give yourself enough room to work on what is most important, which is how you're within yourself. So what you take on the outside, whether you're a Poornanga or a full-time volunteer or a part-time volunteer or an online volunteer, or working outside the ashram and doing your own work, taking care of your family and your business or your work. So these are all things which you do on the outside. So spirituality is about how you're within yourself, because that is what is most important. You may take up any role which you want to do, and that is what determines whether you are really spiritual or not. Not just that you have taken up a certain role just because you're a taken up a certain role outside. That doesn't make you spiritual in any way. How you're within yourself is what determines it. So what people do on the outside, you can choose whatever is comfortable for you, whatever you feel more resonating towards. That is something you can choose. But most importantly, Sadhguru keeps reminding us that it is how we are within ourselves, that is what will determine how our life is, not what we do on the outside. So that's why that being, doing, having, the fundamental shift from having, doing and being to being, doing and having is the key. Because generally we always think about how what we want to have. Let's say you want to have a big house, you want to have good relationships, you want to have wealth, you want to have savings, you want to stay in a very nice clean place. So you think about having, and then you think about what I should do to get these things. Maybe I should study, I should do an engineering degree, I should become a doctor, or I should become a monk, or I should go to the ashram, I should do other things which helps me come to this state. And then finally you think about in terms of how to be. So basically you first think about having, and because of that desire to have something, you think about what to do to get that, and then how you are within yourself comes last. So this is the reason why whatever we get, have on the outside, we are never satisfied, because how we are within ourselves, we have never worked on it, because that comes as the last priority. Having, doing and being, so being just gets compromised, we don't even think about being. Because once we get into activity, we think, okay, now the activity will take us to what we want to have, and we are just being, however it's flowing, we're just flowing. But if this shift happens, where we consider how we are within ourselves as the topmost priority, you just establish that this is how I want to be within myself. This is how I want to be, irrespective of what the outside situations are. I want to be peaceful, joyful, loving within myself. I want to see how I can live joyfully. It doesn't matter what I do on the outside. It doesn't matter what path I choose on the outside, but I want to be joyful. If that being becomes important, then you will see that doing, whatever you're doing, it will be something which will not leave a scratch on you, because now your being is fixed. Now when you're joyful, it doesn't matter whether you are a Poornanga, whether you are a brahmachari, whether you're a married person, or whether you're a full-time volunteer, you're a part-time volunteer, you're doing working in office, you are a housewife, you're working in the kitchen, because now you're joyful, right? So then it doesn't matter what you're doing the outside, you are only choosing what you want and you're doing it joyfully. And then having is a corollary, because now you're doing something joyfully. Now you will see, you will also begin to get the things what you have dreamt of having. It just flows easily, because who doesn't want to learn from a joyful person? Who doesn't want to go to a joyful doctor? Who doesn't want to go to a loving loving person, and who will not want to associate with such a person? You will see now whatever you have been looking for, that will also come very easily. So being, doing, having, Sadhguru always mentions this. This is what we need to establish rather than the other way around. So that is a more fulfilling way to be. So that's how it is, you know. So this is, I feel, this is always the key part, because we always feel, oh, if I become a teacher, you know, then it's settled. If I become, you know, a CEO, it's settled. If I go to the ashram, it is settled. But nothing of this will settle you, you know, unless our being is settled. Unless the being is settled, nothing will settle you. You can try it out and see. We always felt that if we get something, we will be happy, you know, and we kept on doing this. So it's something, unless we realize this, that how we are within ourselves, if that is not fixed, nothing else, you know, will work. It doesn't matter how, whatever things you do on the outside. So what we are doing on the outside is just a thing which we have chosen right now. It's just something we have chosen on the outside. So if you keep this, if you remind yourself of this, then as Sadhguru says, then life will flow effortlessly. So please see how you can always constantly remind yourself and then choose accordingly. It just flows from there actually. Okay. Okay. During Makar Sankranti, can we start new sadhana or should we continue what we have learned? Yes, of course, you should continue what you have learned. It's not the time to drop your practices. So when we say Bhogi, it's the time to drop unnecessary things. It's not the time to drop your practices, what you're doing, and take on some new practices. It is just a time for you to kind of drop things which you are keeping unnecessarily within yourself. So practices part, whatever you have learned, this is something you should try to keep for life. It is not something which changes. You can always learn new practices if you want to. If you have learned Surya Kriya, if you want to learn Surya Shakti or Yogasanas in addition, then you can do that. If you have already learned, you know, Shambhavi Mahamudra, now you want to learn Shakti Chalana Kriya and Shunya, you can learn that. So you can always pick up a new practice, but there is no need to drop a practice. You can always keep on whatever practice you're doing. So that's something you can do. And Makar Sankranti, it's a new start. It doesn't mean you have to start doing things differently on the outside. It just means that within yourself, you see how to start afresh. Whatever has happened has happened, because we always think that, you know, what has happened on the outside in the past may determine how we are in the future. But if we just drop that and just see how we can start afresh, then it need not just be determined by what we have done in the past. It can be a completely new beginning. So Makar Sankranti is a time to kind of start afresh, and that doesn't mean to start something on the outside afresh. It just means how you are within yourself. You see how to give it that a fresh start. You know. Okay. Which yoga to do to make best use of the solar flare? You just start doing any yogic practice. So a lot of us, we tend to think that, you know, this yogic practice is better than the other yoga practice. See, when we say yoga, right, it is not a practice. It is just how you are within yourself. As I was already sharing, you know, that it is how you are within yourself. That is what is most important. So these practices, what you're doing, they are just tools to help you reach this state more easily. So whether it's Shambhavi Mahamudra, whether it's Hatha Yoga, whether it's meditation, whatever other things you're doing on the outside in terms of sadhana, they are only a means so that you can come to this realization very easily, more easily, you know. So when you do your practice, it doesn't matter what practice you do, whether it's Isha Kriya, whether it's Upa Yoga, whether it's Shambhavi Mahamudra, whether it is Shunya, whether it is Shakti Chalana Kriya, constantly reminding yourself. So especially I would say that if you have not done any program already, you have not done any program so far, start with the inner engineering program, because it is a fundamental foundational program. You get initiated into Shambhavi Mahamudra by Sadhguru. You learn all the tools in terms of keeping that awareness within yourself throughout the day. Because if you just do the practice, let's say half an hour a day you spend time to do yoga, but rest of the time you're not applying the tools, if you're not trying to be in yoga throughout the day, then you will see, you may feel a little comfort, you may feel a little joy when you do practice. After that you're back to square one, you know. So if you want to really see how you can be in yoga, then it is not something which you can do just for few hours. It is something which you need to do 24 hours to live like that. So if you have to do that, then it's very important that whatever you're doing, that itself becomes like a sadhana for you, whether it's your work, your relationships, whether it's your whether it is an activity which you're doing, the food which you're eating, the way you walk, the way you sleep, the way you speak, everything becomes a sadhana for you. So yogic practices are just a means to get to that state where we can take everything as a sadhana, where we can stir up energies in such a way that it's all something which we can support us. Whatever we are doing on the outside, we don't get lost in that, and we see how to do it as a sadhana. So whatever yogic practices you have learned, it doesn't matter what you have learned, see how you can do that. That itself will be helpful for you. But of course, if you get initiated into a particular practice like Shambhavi Mahamudra, or if you are, if you learn Shakti Chalana Kriya, if you get initiated into some practice, it will be very, very powerful, because initiation is like a live seed which has been planted in you. So that's why so much importance has been placed upon a live guru initiating you, because once a guru initiates you, then you will see that whatever is necessary for you to have within yourself to grow, it will be planted within you, and now it's just a question of you creating a certain atmosphere within yourself to allow it to flower. So that you can always do by doing the yogic practices and implementing the tools. So just make use of whatever practices which you have learned so far and see how to continue it. Okay. Okay. So if there are no any questions, if there are any other questions, you can please type it. Otherwise, we can stop here for today. Okay. So then we'll stop here, since there are no other questions. So I would like to thank all of you for taking this time and joining us for this session. Hope it was useful for you to get a perspective, and hope you make use of this time to make a fresh start. And if you just see how to make this a better human being, how we can enhance this and make it a better human being, then you will see everything about you will be enhanced. It doesn't matter whatever you're doing on the outside, everything will be enhanced, whether it's your work, whether it's your activity on the outside, what you're doing like your work or whatever else, your relationships, how you're feeling within yourself, everything else will be enhanced if we just work on ourselves. So that is the topmost priority, because always we feel that we don't have time for ourselves because we are busy with so many things on the outside. But on the outside, if at all, if it has to have an impact, if our work has to have an impact, if whatever we are doing on the outside has to have an impact, it can only come if what we are within ourselves is something which is valuable. It cannot happen otherwise. So just understanding this fundamental, that how we are within ourselves, to work on ourselves is the most important priority, and there's nothing more important than that. And that doesn't mean that you have to leave everything and you have to ignore everything on the outside and then take up this as the highest priority. That's not the thing. Most people generally think that, okay, because this is the highest priority, then I should drop whatever I'm doing on the outside and just do this, just do my practices. So if you may think like that, but it's not so. It is not about dropping things what you're doing on the outside. It's just about changing your perspective, just seeing that how you're within yourself, that becomes more important. Then it empowers you to do whatever you're doing on the outside. That doesn't need to change. If you don't want to change, you don't, it's fine, it doesn't have to necessarily change. But how you are within yourself, that changes, everything else changes. So it is not about getting time separately for this. You don't need to have create a separate time or additional time just to see how you can make this a priority. It's just a shift in perspective which can happen any moment. It's not about spending more time and taking out time from whatever you're doing and doing this. But initially it may be like this, because initially, unless you do something on the outside, you spend a few hours in doing your yogic practices, until then you don't even think of this as a priority. How much ever you may listen to a particular video, it may not be the reality for you. No, you may not even consider how you're within yourself as a priority. So for that reason, what we are doing on the outside, it's a huge support just to come to that state where now how you're within yourself becomes a priority. And after that, it doesn't matter what you're doing. You don't need to take out extra time just to be, you will just see everything else. Everything is an opportunity for us to offer ourselves and be in sadhana. So hope all of us can make use of this time, and this Makar Sankranti may help all of us to take this step within ourselves and to grow. So thank you all for being a part of this session and joining. So wish all of you very blessed next few months and see how you can have a fresh start. Thank you once again for joining the session. So I had already shared the link to the form. Those of you who wish to support us, and I will share this again in the description as well, so that you can fill this up if you're interested. Thank you all. Namaskaram. I'll end the live session now. Namaskar.